What's going on, everybody? I'm Chase, and this is my review of 9 Days. Now, this comes to us from Sony Pictures Classics, and it stars Winston Duke as a reclusive man that conducts a series of interviews with human souls for a chance to be born. So it's not the afterlife like most films, where you die and you have that limbo period before you are sought off into the great beyond. It is actually this kind of deserty looking place where human souls are made up. They go in for a job interview basically to see if they are compatible for the life that was lost on Earth. So fascinating concept. And I remember going into this and I was hearing all this festival buzz. It was so contagious. I was like, I need to see this film pronto. And the way people were describing it was like The Truman Show. And The Truman Show is one of my favorite films of all time. There's a fun fact for you there. I've seen that film a million times. And ironically, before I saw the screeners for this, no lie, I saw The Truman Show on a plane coming back from a trip. And I still love it. It's it makes me cry. It makes me think about stuff. It is perfect. And so I was hoping that this one would kind of be, I guess, my modern version of that, where like it's a film about life, questions about life, being human, existential crisis that people are going through. What does it all mean? What does life mean? Like, I love that type of stuff. So as much as I love The Truman Show, which I will continue to watch a million more times before I die, I want like another one to take that place. I'm not even going to bury the lead anymore. I don't even want to string you guys along and build up this anticipation. This film is fantastic. It's one of the best of the year. And I would be shocked, if by the end of the year I catch up on everything and finally make a list, because I didn't do one last year. I would be shocked if this doesn't stay in the top 5. It's just that good. If you love films about people questioning life or questioning humanity, what it means to be human, the complexity of being a human, all that stuff, then you will love this. Some people might find it slow and just, it's just a bunch of people talking about like, what it means to be human, and this guy's just judging them and all that stuff. It's like, yes, but there's so much more to it, and it's just so beautifully told. It's very surreal. It's like an out-of-body experience, and I think when it's definitely over, I wanted to watch it again immediately. I wanted to catch up on all of the little things that I missed maybe the first time and really kind of examine this thing, and I can't wait to watch it a million more times. It's a humongous endorsement because it reminds me so much of The Truman Show, and The Truman Show for the longest time was my favorite of those types of movies that I would just watch over and over and over again and cry myself in a little ball somewhere in a room and then fall asleep. Now I have another one, like a modern one I can kind of like mix in with The Truman Show as well. So yeah, I can't wait to rewatch this and just kind of really just dive in deeper to the philosophical nature of it and just really kind of get into the core of the film even more. It's just one of those things that I think you're going to really enjoy just kind of going back and rewatching. So I got to start with Edson Oda, who is the writer and director of the film. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. This is his directorial debut for a feature. This is incredible. Like, what an impressive way to start your feature career. Like, this is insane to me. So after watching this, I am now a dedicated fan to this particular filmmaker. That's how easy it is. Make a knockout piece like this, I got you. I will support you until you just make a string of bad ones and I might just forget about you. But this is a fantastic start if this is what you're going to offer in terms of filmmaking. So I thought he did a fantastic job just kind of balancing everything out, not making it seem overly pretentious or people just pondering questions without actually any meaning or substance behind it. And I think actually having this being the opposite of the afterlife and it's like the before life, it's a fascinating concept. And it's something that I don't think many of us have been introduced to before. So these ideas and these questions that are proposed in this film are fascinating. I think the conversations between the people are so riveting and so rich and just so beautiful and somber, and just I was drawn in immediately with the substance and the thematic weight to this film. And so on a writing and story perspective, Etsunoda knocked it out of the park. In terms of the actual vision of the film, it's beautiful. It's super surreal, and it is amazing to me on how little of locations and just everything that they had to deal with, but it makes it seem so vast and just this wide kind of open space of possibilities. And like it's definitely creative world building with very minimal budget and location. And I just thought that was outstanding how he was able to trick my mind into thinking we were somewhere else in this before life kind of limbo, and it wasn't just like in some place in a desert. It was its own unique area. And like I said, it was super surreal and like it an out of body experience for sure. I felt like I was transported into this weird limbo stage in life. So from a vision perspective, I think he killed it, and the cinematography is gorgeous to kind of accompany that. Another thing that's super important to this film are the performances. And when you have this kind of like thematically rich story and, you know, things that ponder about life in general, your particular life, what it means to be human, that is really, really deep stuff. Like, you have to have some commitment and some just ferocity in these performances and just these layered performances. Everyone in this cast does a fantastic job. Winston Duke is the lead. He's the one that we follow, and he's absolutely extraordinary. And this is a character that has his emotions kind of built behind a wall. Like, he doesn't ever want to express himself. Like, he's the person that has lived on Earth. He knows what it's like. It was rough for him. He wants other people to understand that life was rough on Earth. And so if he's going to choose you to be the next soul, he wants to toughen you up. And he wants to make sure that you experience the same stuff that he experienced. Except, that's not what being human is all about. And it takes a character like Zazie Beetz' character to come in and show him that was your life. That is what you experienced. Now it is a matter of how you take your life going forward and not living in the past. And there's little things like that like made me kind of reevaluate my life and stuff, which is awesome. I love films that can like put a mirror to you while you're watching it, and you kind of question your own existence. And it's not something that beats you over the head. It's not pretentious, like I said. It does it in a way where it's really creative. The conversations are really fascinating, and the performances are so in tune to one another. The chemistry between everyone bounces off screen, and you were just in this world. You were in these characters' lives, and you want to know what happens. Like, you want to know like which one he picks, because the whole concept of the movie is that he has these group of people that he's got to pick one, because he watches a bunch of them on screen. One of them tragically passed, and this was a life that he really was in love with. Like, he loved watching this person. Like, this person was enjoying life to their fullest, but their life was taken away. And so he has to have that kind of heavy task of finding someone to replace what he thought was, you know, perfect and everything. And even he, at some point in the film, like, he's like, I don't understand like why this person died. And Benedict Wong's character is like, you can't let that bother you. It happened. Now we have to find someone else. And it's just like, life happens really fast, really random, and just kind of abruptly sometimes. And so, once again, another thing to make you just think about your own life and how we shouldn't take things for granted and how we should just enjoy it to the fullest. Oh, there's so much stuff here. Guys, there's so much going on in this film. It is hard to actually, it's hard to break down all of it. It really is. Like, I think you just need to watch it for yourself. Like, what I'm doing is just scratching the surface. But yeah, it's really, woo, it's a lot, and it's making me think about certain things, and I might cry on camera, but that's okay. We're all in this together. Anyways, like I said, Winston Duke's character, like he's the only one that's actually lived on Earth, and like he experienced a pretty bad life, and so he wants everyone to experience that. Zazie Beetz is like, no, like that's not what life is all about, which is weird and funny because she hasn't lived yet, and so maybe that's kind of the point, is that when you were brought into this world, the world is your oyster. There are so many possibilities for anything to happen. You can make what your life, whatever you want it to be. And so I love her optimism, and I love the fact that she's going to tackle life head on if she is hired to be in this sole position. And it really makes Winston Duke's character kind of think like, wow, maybe I have lost my grips on like what it means to live and like what it means to be human. And it's not all black and white. It's gray. Like the complexity of the emotions that we have as people is all over the place. And so there are certain candidates that don't get accepted because they are just not up to the task. But it makes you wonder, like, why? Why aren't they up to the task? They haven't even lived yet. How are we supposed to know if they do well? If they're not even given a chance. And so just seeing them kind of like the other ones kind of perish, so to speak, and kind of go away, and them kind of like accepting fate, knowing that they're not going to even have a chance to live, like that was super sad. And I haven't seen anything like that in a while, where like it just straight up like, I don't even think I reacted to it. I think I just had streams of tears just falling down my face, and I was like, wow, life is so short, and these people didn't even get a chance to even live it. Kind of crazy. My mind is going all over the place because there's just so much. Winston Duke, Zazie Beetz, and Benedict Wong are fantastic, but this is also an ensemble film. Winston Duke is interviewing like 8 different souls in this film. Tony Hale is in this, Bill Skarsgård, and just those 5 names alone are so weird that you're like, there's no way that they would be in a movie together. But here we are, and I think it works out perfectly, because when I think of people like a Winston Duke and a Tony Hale in particular, 2 completely different personalities. And I really enjoy that, because if this is a film about someone interviewing potential souls to live a life on Earth, everyone's built differently. Everyone's unique. Everyone's got a different personality. And so I think having different personality, like actors and actresses, it works in the context of the film. So it's even better. And on top of all that, everyone does a fantastic job. All the souls do. Even the people I've never even heard of before. One of my favorites was David Rysdahl. I think that's how you pronounce it. He was one of the souls that may or may not have made it. To see his arc and to see where it ends and to see him kind of have his existential moment, realizing that he may or may not be able to live, like that hit me in the heartstrings for sure. And everyone else, I think they all work together really well, because they're all so different from one another, and their stories are so different, and you are just kind of glued into every single person. And it's so nice to have like this eclectic group of stories that you can follow, and it all kind of comes together and still makes sense. So yeah, I absolutely loved all the performances in this. It was a great ensemble piece. I mentioned earlier, the cinematography is just beautiful. It's stunning, very surreal-like. It feels like a dream, elegant. It's wonderful. The editing is also fantastic. It is tightly wound. There's no breathing room for any mistakes. It is a perfectly edited movie. It's 2 hours, and it flies by just like that. And the whole film is just conversations, but the conversations and just the growth of these characters is just magnificent to watch. I was wrapped in from moment one, because I was curious to know like what it was that Winston Duke did, and like where he was at, what his purpose was, and then seeing Zazie Beetz come in and kind of changing him, and opening up his eyes to a different view on life. It's just all of it. It's so fascinating to see it kind of just build with like emotional suspense each scene, and then at the very end it's just kind of like this cathartic release, and you feel just kind of happy. Like the whole thing does make you feel a bit dreadful about life and how you've been living it, maybe, and maybe looking at this film and having it speak to you in a way that makes you appreciate life more. At the very end, I still felt hopeful and optimistic and happy, and it was beautiful. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. So yeah, it just kind of like, it's this emotional ramp, and it just ends on this graceful note. Just leaves you with a smile on your face. There's tears down your face for sure, but leaves you with a smile. And that is the power of this film. Once again, kind of hard to lump this film into a review. It really is. And I think I did okay. Let me know down below what you think of 9 Days. Absolutely love this one. Check it out if you love stuff that ponders about life, ponders about humanity, and just has an interesting take on not the afterlife, but the before life. So let me know down below what you think of 9 Days, whether you loved it, hated it, just everything about it. And let me know, because this one is definitely one to talk about. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.